Theme
Bip,
song.
bip, bip, ting. Fucking chubbed for that.
Hello, I'm Wanda. This is Vision. We are WandaVision. No, we're not really WandaVision. We're Vision Wanda. This is
Wanda viewers.
That's actually title show.
There it is.
Name there, right there. Wanda viewers.
My degree at work.
So that was episode 8. Previously on. We're starting late.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I was like, we'll talk about Marvel just after it aired, and you can get tidbits from us. Bits that are tid.
It's been a good series. I'm actually incredibly impressed with it. Particularly, and I mean, even if you aren't interested in sort of, the whole WandaVision thing, the fact that they've committed so heavily to this idea does nothing but bode well for the future. Because, there's a lot of stuff that is wild and necessitates that degree of just fuck it energy. And the fact that it was just hard sitcom, and I love this shit because like her, I was fucking grew up watching all of these fucking sitcoms.
Yeah.
Back even some of the older ones, because they used to play that shit in the afternoon on Channel 7 and stuff. Because some Americans don't seem to understand is in order for particularly if a country wanted to have the popular sitcoms, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get say Full House,
Yep.
you weren't allowed to just buy Full House from the States.
No.
You had to buy Full House as a package that came with a bunch of other shit, because that way they could make it cost more and go, well, you're getting value for it, and offload some fucking international rights for shit like My Three Sons and a bunch of other crap. So you'd end up watching shit, like My Three Sons, old fucking American sitcoms and stuff in the afternoon just because it was on.
I was like, well, what else are you gonna do? Go
Yeah.
outside. I went on the I stayed on the trampoline a lot. That was my hobby. Because you can do everything on the trampoline. You can fight, you can do power-ups, everything.
Make sure my little fucking... No, there it goes.
Your little feather doodad.
Yeah, my little thing.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand why the lapels are a thing.
Yeah, I need lapels.
Lapel.
Yeah, having gone, and I noticed this reading comics, because you'll go to even when I had the Marvel app, you're able to just go, okay, I want to read the whole of Fear Itself or something, right? And you'll sit there and you'll click on it, and you can just, there it is, in order, in the reading order, skid it across the fucking various fucking comics. Fear Itself.
Yep.
And you can sit there and you can read the entire fucking thing just back to back.
Yep. And
no gap between comics fucks them up.
Oh yeah.
Particularly comics that are built and written around that kind of old style, comic that a lot of the major books still do, are structured around that gap. And so you end with a big thing oh, what'll happen next time? And then the next time's right there. Exactly. And you're able to get this immediacy, and they kind of lean on that to get in and out of tension moments that don't really exist.
Yeah.
If you ever watched the really old serial TV show called King of the Rocket Men, which is what The Rocketeer was based on.
Lord.
Yeah, it's an interesting little show, but it's worth watching a few episodes because they do exactly that. So they'll have look out, he's in trouble. So one of the ones that will stick with me forever is there's a burning house, he's in the house, and then there's an outside shot of the house, and the house explodes. You're like, oh fuck, what happened? And then the next episode starts. It's the same shot of the burning house that we saw, before, the thing. An extra shot of him just walking out the back door, and then the shot of the house, and the house explodes.
That's
and
great.
So many of their fucking cliffhangers were that. It's just the narrative would just not show you the fucking basic thing that fucking happened.
Yeah.
And so a lot of fucking, I think, and some of it's adapting, to how we do this, but a problem with binge television, the stuff you can just watch back to back, is it fucks up pacing.
Yes.
It's a bit like pacing a narrative in an open world game.
Yeah.
They can't tell you when to go and get the good emotional punch. You might be tired. You might have been playing it for 4 hours, and then you stop, you go to bed, you wake up, and then the fucking first thing you run into the next day is a big thing that's supposed to actually, connect with the bits that you've seen before it.
Yeah.
But when you can just sit there and just belt through it all at once, you don't get that.
Yeah.
And so the controlled release schedules of things like, Mandalorian, and it does other things to Mandalorian as well, but WandaVision, beyond leaning into the aesthetic that WandaVision's, aping, helps with the storytelling. Because a song can't be just all the sounds at once. You need the fucking gaps between. And
I'm gonna say Dubstep Says You're Wrong.
good song. But like, because I fucking, like, I hate it when the fucking, please stand by.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I get pissed.
fucking hell, like, God fucking damn it.
I know, because it just gets really good. But it's not cliffhangery good. Because it's like, it's not a cliffhanger. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? It's not a big moment.
It's not bullshit G'd up.
Exactly.
It's just the natural part of the way the fucking story is developing.
I can't wait to discover the next part of the story. It's very intriguing.
And the thing is, like, this shit does, because what it's doing basically, and like you'll see this with some mystery programs that were like, like Lost's a good example, where like, if you're going to hide shit from the viewer, it's like delaying a meal. It's like, there's been a delay. And it's like, all right, a few delays and you're okay, but the meal better be fucking good. But there's a point where after enough delays, it doesn't matter what the fucking meal is. It's like fucking Half-Life 3. Doesn't matter what they fucking release. It does not fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Unless it's like something I can plug into my fucking brain and live an experience, doesn't fucking matter because the build has been delayed too long. Simple as that. And
Charlie.
That's the cat being insane.
Yeah, because he hasn't been fed. He's getting pissed off.
My God, I haven't eaten in 20 minutes.
You don't get to eat every night. You don't get tin food every night. You get a gap. Screw you.
Gotta learn.
Yeah.
But like, so a lot of people will get like tense about like, because that's what the show is, delaying elements of gratification.
Yes.
Like we're probably into the fucking, end game elements of the gratification
Definitely.
now.
I mean, no one knows how many episodes it is, do they?
I think it's 10 or 12.
I feel it's 12.
Because apparently it's Feig says something about it being a set amount of time, which is then split across a set amount of episodes.
Okay.
So like apparently the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes are going to be like fewer but longer. So it's either 10 or 12. I don't know. But you know what? I don't care. Like, so like the thing of it is like delaying that gratification means you don't get the little mini payoffs. So basically, and I described this in the Little Simpsons articles, as what you're doing is you're putting a lot of weight on one fulcrum. And it means that fucking thing had better work. And so that's like a big thing that comes, and I, don't have any real reason. I mean, unless they fucking literally end it with zero fucking, this episode was explanation anyway, but unless they end it with fucking zilch and, go watch Doctor Strange 2 in like a year and a half or whatever the fuck. Like if they did that, that'd be cunty and that wouldn't be good. And it would, it would spoil what the fucking build-up was. You can't build up to nothing.
It's 9 episodes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Are that 100%?
Premiere with the first 2 episodes on January 15th, 2021 and will run for 9 episodes until March 5th.
That's what Wikipedia says. So I've heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna look more.
I've just heard weird fucking shit. Yeah, like. But you never know. Next episode might be.
They might just say that and then bust out some more. We can't trust them.
The thing is, like, again, all right. So I can't remember what I was saying.
We were talking about the amount of episodes.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't know.
We don't know. No one knows.
I think it's 10. Like, I don't think it's fucking 9.
9's
like,
odd.
Disney Plus UK Twitter just said episode 8's out tonight. There's 2 more episodes, which could either mean including episode 8, but I feel like 2 more plus episode 8 because that's, typically what one would say.
IMDb lists 9 episodes too.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Well, fucking,
I feel 9 episodes listed, and there's going to be a 10th that drops.
Or there's the 9 episodes longer.
I hope the next one's like 2 hours. I know that's too much, but it'll be an hour.
It's an hour and a half.
It'll be an hour.
Come on. But yeah, it's been tremendously enjoyable and rather surprising in a lot of ways.
Also, make sure you stay till after the credits.
I know, like, yeah, I did that for a lot of them, and the credits are like 12 minutes long because I gotta have like fucking, here's like the Indonesian voice cast and shit. And like, I get that.
But you sneaky bastards, you're supposed to only do that in movies, not TV shows, because no one's sitting here going, why would they put a thing on a stream thing,
Well, they started, I think, like 2 weeks ago. It was like, oh yeah, by the way. And then, so we had some fucking relevant ones, after this episode. I mean, like I'm particularly I'm a big fan of like the migration into the streaming platforms because again, streaming isn't bound by a lot of the things that we have taken as hard rules for like television. Like, there's no the act structure that gets used, so much of it was built around, okay, you got like a 20-minute show and 9 minutes of ads.
Yeah.
And you need a break and you need a hook to get people, to stick around and not change a channel after the fucking break. And like that dominated how, things were presented and the realities of, movies, where it's just like there's a, I think the longest one that I can think of off the top of my head that's an actual fucking film is called the Mahabharata, and that's like 7.5 hours long. And that fucking cunt has an intermission because you need it. Good movie though. If you got 7 hours spare, it's Brian Blessed's in there, I think, somewhere.
Cool.
But yeah, I like the idea of a show as long as it needs to be.
Oh yes, it's refreshing to be able to sit down and go, I'm going to see a solid block just of story. Like, I'm going to get it. It's coming for me. It's not going to be any Trixies this week.
Yeah.
And oh no, and then I have to tune in for another season to find out will they, won't they?
Yeah.
Like, it just brings everything up front. It sets it down and it moves it. It moves it forward. And it's relevant. It adds lore. It adds character. It adds more. It's fantastic.
And this has been like, because, I remember saying years ago, it was like, I would watch a YouTube series that was just fucking wanted to try and teach Vision to cook. Because one of the big ones for me, one of the big fucking gaps for me that, like, has been bugging the shit out of me was, like, just Vision in a nutshell, really. Yeah. It's like, A, we haven't had a real solid, look in the fucking movies of, like, what he's capable of. And B, he's like a new form of life.
Yeah.
Which is something I feel would be a bit more important, like it comes up hither and thither throughout this, where it's just like, he had like, a living will and stuff. And it's like, was there a conversation? Because there'd be a conversation about this. It's like, okay, I mean, I understand a lot's happened, like I understand probably people have shit on their plate. And there's probably, especially with the fucking, Thanos and the snap and all that. So it's like, okay, there's like a reason. There were distractions.
Yeah.
But even with all that going on, I'd still be like, so do you dream? Like, what are you? Like.
Just sitting there poking him.
Yeah. Like, what's happening in there? Like, and, this is sort of, I mean, I like Paul Bettany just in general. I think he's like really charismatic.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, and he's got a natural charisma. He's got an absolutely fantastic knack for comic timing and presentation, and that's been allowed to fucking come out in this. And I think like again, this couldn't be a movie. You wouldn't have been able to do this as even a fucking 3-hour film.
No, God no.
And you wouldn't be seeing this on like the fucking WB.
No.
And I think that was one of the great fucking faults of like the DC series that they had on there, was like this persistence of doing like a 20 episode season when they had like the plot for like maybe 8 episodes.
Dude, if that 3. Like, come on, let's be real.
And that, like, it fucking killed it. Because like he was saying about how stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, stuff fucking happens. Whereas like, you'd watch like a whole season of fucking like Arrow or like Flash after it started to get shitty. And believe it or not, Arrow wasn't as bad. The first season of Arrow is actually remarkable for how much it like does like stuff. But like, the whole idea is they have one plot point, which is like there's a conflict between 2 characters. Yep. But they have to figure out a way to keep that conflict from occurring for like 15 fucking episodes. And that's possible if you can do stuff. When you can't do stuff, you end up writing characters that are just dumb.
You know what you do? You fucking structure a season at least half of that long, and then you just have character arcs. Instead of just going, do I need to talk to you? Do I need to talk to you? Drama, drama, drama. Like, that's the thing is, we get it. It's hard to do superhero shit every episode. Like, I understand. That's hard to write.
Especially when you got, like, a Warner Brothers budget.
Yes.
They're not giving those people lots of fucking,
Like, I understand that.
There are realities, but, like...
But when Grant Gustave, who's an amazing actor as the Flash, I still think he's a great Flash, is spending most of his time zipping around talking to people, it just feels wrong.
Especially with season 1 of that show was like...
It was so good.
Yeah, good, because it was like every week there was some cunt.
It had to have the plot.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You had to have the plot of him learning his powers and all that stuff. So they had to have the monster of the week.
Yeah.
And also Wells, what's his face? I forgot his name, whoever.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
He was a great villain.
Yeah, that was like Zoom in like a
Mm.
disguise or some shit, wasn't it? Yeah, that was solid. Like that's the thing. The first season of that was really fucking good. I really enjoyed the show. The first few seasons of Flash, but then it was around like, you know,
It was season 3.
yeah,
Season 2 was starting to wear at the end. It got a little,
it's
but
just like yeah, because you're trying to do 20 fucking episodes,
yeah.
and like old shows like fucking your next gen bubble, the Star Treks and a few other things, would get away with it by not really having a serialized arc of any description.
Mm.
And it's like that's an option, but then you miss out on the things you can do with a serialized arc, where like having shit build.
Mm. Also, the other thing that those shows do that I fucking hate is they take that whole identity of the superhero and they just give it away. So in the Flash,
Wasn't everyone the Flash?
Yeah, like
because I stopped watching at about season 4.
Like everyone's faster than Barry, and it's like you can't do that. The whole point of the Flash is, and his foes are, you have to outsmart and slow down the speedster. Because that's his whole thing. You can't just go, oh, he's faster than Barry.
I'm Barry
No.
Allen, the 7th fastest guy around.
Yeah, it's redonkulous. Like, why is Wally faster? I don't know. Fuck it.
But like that's and that's the good fortune of like, because part of it's like if you're making shitloads of money on a fucking TV show, saying, hey, I want to end it because the narrative makes sense here. It's like, people are just going to say no.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I like about sort of, and again, like it's a structure that hasn't existed previously. Is like, I don't feel like I'm going to have to worry about what they're going to be doing, how they're going to keep her in the hex for Scarlet and, WandaVision 3. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to fucking, happen. Like, it's not fucking necessary. There's a story being told, being presented across, the time frame that it needs. And like, I was absolutely like, after the first 2 episodes where it's just like this weird fucking like, the bit where like, in the first episode where the Vision's boss is like choking on something and like the mum from that 70s show is just saying stop it over and over and over again,
like increasingly
and
shaky
just the fucking that unpleasant bass tone rumbling away. And it's just like, this is like a one of the darker episodes of Twin Peaks. This is fantastic. I'm 100% in for this. And it's like, that's, the courage to commit to that means that we can actually get like, oh, okay, like I can watch episodes without dreading how they're gonna fuck it up. So I feel like if they were fucking confident enough to do that at the start, they'll be confident enough to like stick the fucking landing.
Oh yeah. I just wonder if it's gonna lead, like, because it's leading directly into madness, right?
Yeah, but I mean, again, like that's the thing
But
is,
how?
yeah, like because the sentence leads into
Like, can be
can
anything.
involve a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Because so my mind goes, well, the cinema goers have to be able to sit in and not have seen the show. So it's going to be something, a big payoff for people like us who sit down and watch all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that. Because that's the thing, the movie has to succeed without this.
I mean,
Unless they do a recap at the start of it, who knows?
well, I feel like I feel like it'll be like the Avengers films, where it's like, I mean, yeah, you can sit down and just watch it, but like, like I don't want to. I gotta watch 4 other movies. Yeah, or don't fucking. I don't know why.
Why are you
like,
trying to
I
get into
know.
the series? Why are you
Don't-
trying to watch the 4th
I
one?
know. Don't open
Why?
a book and start at like
Oh,
chapter
man.
12. Like you have to. It's the movie. It's like yeah, but it's like it's serialized. There's a connection now because they can do that, and it wasn't possible before. And it's okay to not like that.
That's fine. Yeah.
There is plenty of other shit in the world.
99% of the other movies are still the movie
Yeah.
you want to watch.
No, like because I mean, and that's the other thing too. Is like the expansion of like filmmaking technology, the expansion of delivery technologies, has meant that you can like just go look a fucking around. If you want to watch something weird that's not a fucking sequel or a fucking remake, there's stuff out there. It mightn't be at the fucking multiplex, but it's not going to be anymore because these, that was an expensive risk trying to get your movie in a fucking the cinema. When now you can put it on a streaming service, or
moving
you can,
on.
yeah, you could there's a lot of these movies aren't supposed to be seen at the fucking cinema.
Yeah.
You don't need to see someone's weird fucking intimate goddamn art house film, on a fucking movie screen with
No,
popcorn.
but we also, like, they had the indie award shows where you can, like, they celebrate those things and put those on a big screen.
Yeah,
and stuff
well, I
like
live up
that.
the
Like,
road
there's-
from like a Dendy Theatre, which is an art house
Well,
fucking
there you
theatre
go.
anyway.
Like, they're still
yeah.
around. They still will be around because there's always going to be people who like those things. But that's the thing. The money loop is closing right now. COVID has affected so many things, and movies have especially moved into and TV moved in that new bubble.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for cinemas for that one. That wasn't their fault.
No. I said it earlier today. No, because the camera doesn't support it. That's how they roll.
We have to update this camera so it's magic. Subscribe to our Patreon. But so this episode, we got some great lore. It was a flashback episode, nice use of previously on, as Agatha took Wanda through her sad past. And we got to see some nifty fucking shit. There's been some amazing teasing of big things, like the ads, I think, have been one of the niftier little...
The ads have been fantastic. Yeah. The ads, if you haven't noticed, have all had a key element to them, like the Stark toaster and things like that, and they all correspond with the points in her life, like the Stark bomb.
Yeah. Or like, Nexus from the last one, which, so Nexus, for those unfamiliar, is like a Nexus person. So in the Marvel Comics universe, the 616, Scarlet Witch is a Nexus, which makes her like a being connected to the rest of the multiverse. It's gonna be fucking interesting. And there was we got maybe a glimpse of that through the Mind Stone when Scarlet Witch was being upgraded, basically. It turns out she's had witch powers.
And they got amplified.
Yeah, and they got cranked up and
by the stone.
She had no one teaching her anything though. So she just had like zaps and fucking telekinesis and that. Which is actually cool. That's a really good way to go about it.
And as a result, I think that's, as it's basically said, that's the result is because she hasn't been untaught. Her magic is just chaos. It's just chaos magic, straight up. And that's why she makes it, that's why Agatha is threatened by it, because chaos magic is completely unpredictable. It's just chaos. That's the point of it. I don't think we're seeing Mephisto. I think everyone leading into that is just...
I feel like that have been more... Trees. Yeah. Like again, a good reveal can't be just bullshit. It can't be out of nowhere.
Haha, it was me all along, Mephisto!
Like, there's been... like the Agatha thing was solid because the viewers had been given a reason to be suspicious of it. Just within the construct of the show, there was clearly something.
Yeah.
And so the reveal recontextualizes rather than contradicts what you'd seen. There has been a slight hint,
the way you told me, sir.
Because Wanda's got red magic, so that's chaos. Fucking, Agatha has purple. Like the witches that tried to kill her were using blue.
Agatha has Twitch magic.
Streamer beam! And there was a book in her fun dungeon, that had orange. And I like that. I like the different fucking little color-coded thing. I think that's nice. But the orange is interesting. So that, I don't know if they're going to go whole hog. I think you might get some because obviously Agatha's got some kind of extra source of power.
Yeah.
That's been suggested. So I think we'll get maybe a clue as to what that is, but I don't think we're going to get because that was kind of a problem that season 1 of Daredevil had.
Right.
Where it had a villain that was really well built over 6 episodes. Or fucking 8 or something like that. And then they killed him. And so the problem is, the viewer, we've been entertained and interested in, interacting with this villain. And then they cut that off, and then now I'm supposed to just shift that and care about this new guy who I haven't seen. So I don't think we'll be getting that. I don't, that lopsides your narrative. So
she's not getting dealt with at all. I think she's possessed by something. Because she was talking about how she couldn't control it, but that she could be a good girl, she could, get through it. She just needed help. And then they attacked her and tried to get her. And I like the crown appearing on her mother. So she's absorbed whatever her mother's power is. Which I'm assuming queen of that coven or whatever, how they...
Kind of fucking wood magic, I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting, the fun thing about this is, particularly because, one of the problems with comics is this shit's been going non-stop for 70 fucking years, and that's, you're gonna get some crap. There's just no team of humans can manage 70 years of...
Well, the big problem is right now, again, the Marvel TV stuff is kicking off. We're going to start having movies and stuff soon. So they're trying to capitalize on the comics. So they're all trying to lead up their events and strike off big things as these things hit up, to try to get more people involved in them. But there's just, the thing is, I'm tired. Viewers, readers we're tired because they'll get one thing and they go, this is a giant event. But while that giant event, 3 other fucking events are happening. And it's like, no more events, please. And then it ends and then it goes, tease for another big event. It's like, no, stop, because it's even bigger than the last one. You're like, no, this is, you know why we have resets? Because of this power creep.
Too
you
much.
can't keep going threat. You've got to have That's why the Immortal Hulks had been a good storyline, but it's been stretched out too long now. But
No, but see, that's the fucking thing, is like, you know, too much.
I know.
Too much exposure.
Too much.
And that's where the fucking movies and shit have an advantage.
Because they can cut.
Yeah, they can trim shit down. Like, you know, it's like how, you know, like fucking Ironheart in the comics, you know, rings hollow because the comics are littered with fucking super geniuses. There's like a bazillion of them. It's like, who fucking cares at this point?
No, yeah.
You know, whereas this time around, there's been that single Tony Stark arc, and then, you know, we haven't met 40 different fucking super brains that exist in this
Tony,
universe.
We have Bruce.
That's about it.
That's it.
And, you know,
You don't have Hank Pym.
yeah, things like, you know, take Love and Thunder, for instance, where it's got like Lady fucking Thor in it.
Yeah.
You know, that was a clusterfuck in the fucking comics. I mean, for a lot of fucking reasons, but, you know, they did that thing where it's like, no, it's really Thor, and there's a tease, and there was all that like external to the narrative crap that weighed it down and made it just annoying and dragged it out. You execute that over like, you know, 90 to 120 minutes, and you can cut the fucking chaff.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't like too much established lore for the, you know, the MCU to be like, you know, leaning against.
And
it can pick and choose the bits that work.
just please steer clear of Phoenix just for a long time, please. Just please. Like, Phoenix is my bugbear because the comics are using it way too much recently. Like Namor getting the Phoenix. Like he'd been possessed by it before, but still, I still don't expect Namor to call to the Phoenix and the Phoenix to come to Namor and break all the treaties of Earth and shit. We're saying it wouldn't come back just for Namor.
Yeah, what did Namor do to get that?
They just called to it. It was at the bottom of the ocean. He's like, you have given me power before, blah, 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 blah. And Phoenix was like, ah!
Like, all right. Fucking
And then
bored.
there's a Phoenix event currently. The Phoenix showed up and now it's testing all the champions. It's Phoenix-fying them and making them fight each other.
Speaking of which, last week's episode had a fun little Namor Easter egg. One of the outfits that the altered sword agent was wearing was a Namor outfit from, you know, real early.
The Submariner.
Fortunately, it wasn't him pretending to be Japanese.
God, man.
Look that up if you haven't seen it. That's 70 years.
I
these things
love
have been
old
going,
comics.
apparently.
Yeah, different times.
Oh man, just even like, because when I got the Marvel app, you know, I was like, I'm gonna read like, you know, all the Juggernaut appearances. And you go back to the very first Juggernaut fucking comic in like 1966, and it is the stupidest fucking thing you ever goddamn. Most of them are. Like, I mean, a lot of those comics were written like they didn't know that pictures were going to be drawn. So like, there's all these boxes that describe action, and then a shitty little drawing of the action, and it's like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, now you get like a little, like a tiny like New York, and then just this massive great splash screen of Hulk like just through a fucking building. I was like, that's cool. I can see the thing. Yeah. Whereas like so many, you can barely even see Hulk. Like like fucking Juggernaut. He was so fucking tiny, and the story is fucking demented. Like it's just the stupidest fucking thing. I mean, for starters, you know, Professor Xavier's not evacuating the school so we can tell this fucking story. There's a bit where they're like, quick, we got to build up like defenses. And hey, that's the most sensible thing is Iceman creates a wall out of ice. But then they're like, okay, let's fill logs with concussion grenades that will like launch. So we'll put gas grenades in logs. We need to hollow logs out. So Cyclops, I'm gonna get you to go look at logs. And there's just things of him like boring a hole through fucking logs. And it's like, imagine like living in that time. You could just make any. You just wouldn't need to have a second idea.
No.
You know, you could just go, all right, fuck it.
That's
things are so much better now. Is my point. Like you've no idea, you spoiled fucking babies. Like you go back and I mean, the fucking X-Men, you know, 90s animated series wasn't always perfect, but Jesus Christ, it was so good because, you know, the shit you were comparing it to.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Fucking abysmal. You can watch He-Man on fucking, Netflix, I think. Go watch an episode of He-Man. Go watch an episode of old He-Man and go,
Don't do it.
yeah, this is no stories. Just fucking none.
No.
And now we have this. And we get to have a nice fucking. It's too long to have been a fucking movie where I'm sitting in the thing. It wouldn't fucking work pacing wise. You couldn't have, the fucking episode. The sitcom episodes wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't fit. You couldn't just do like, oh yeah, the first fucking, 2 hours of this 4-hour film is like 4 fucking sitcom, iterations.
Yeah.
Whereas like here, you've actually got the freedom to execute these stories and it bodes well for the future.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for, that's the thing, I'm excited for next week.
Oh, dude, next week's gonna.
I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for when fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier starts. I'm excited for when Loki starts in like fucking June.
That's right,
yeah.
Wonder viewers, fans. We need to think of a new name for when Falcon and Winter Soldier comes.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Winty boys. That's terrible.
See you later, Winty boys.
Keep It Classy is proudly sponsored completely by its fans. We thank you for your support.
It expanded somehow. I'll have you know